Alrighty, everybody, welcome to your EACS semi-finals. I'm Narski here, joined with my co-host Major for today. It is going to be an absolute bang-up of a match, and without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get hot into it because it's a very, very interesting matchup we've got here.
Yeah, I'll say we've now we're kind of at the business end of the tournament, albeit it's not playing for first and second. Obviously, the game that we're going to be seeing this evening, the second to last series across the EACS circuit that we've seen so far this year. But we've got a good game nonetheless, mate. Troglodyte Tribe versus Paradox, that game in the bottom right. And again, third versus fourth, at least on paper, you'd anticipate that we get a good series here. So it's not the ultimate BON final game that we've got, but with the talent that we've kind of seen across the case of the tournament, it should be hopefully a close matchup. I'm praying that we don't have a 3-0, to be honest, because that'll be a bit of an anticlimax. Obviously, we'll go into the teams when we get into them, but yeah, there's a few changes that might actually anticipate that we get a very good series here.
Yeah, I think no doubt as well, and especially with the story of Paradox coming into this, off of their kind of redemption arc coming into this, I guess, matchup, trying to go for a bit of pride with that third place would be good for them. So, representing not only themselves but the region, Africa. So I think it's going to be very good. I think that we're going to have a pretty even matchup. I also hope it's not going to be a 3-0, considering we saw obviously some unfortunate 3-0s so far in the bracket and some not so close matches. But I think that this series is deserving of that title here in the semi-finals, and of course tomorrow we'll also have the finals on. So yeah, I mean, look, we've seen Troglodyte Tribe quite a fair bit. We've seen Paradox a fair bit. I think we know what they're capable of, but as you said, we're in the business end now. There's a lot of, pressure riding on these two teams to perform.
Yeah, and obviously we'll have a look at the teams as well. So we'll have a look at the boys from EU first, because obviously, Nas, the one thing that really stands out is the fact that they've got 3 players literally in place of the 5 that they had kind of last night, and those players that have been kind of subbed out, you can see them at the bottom there in 605 Pavilion and Mute. We obviously found out before the slight change that they'd come in. Obviously, these 3 players I wrote on my notes at 605 Pavilion and Mute, they had very good games yesterday for the Troglodyte Tribe guys, and now they've subbed them out. So I suppose, at least if we look at it on the surface level, from them being kind of their top performers, potentially this team, don't know whether or not they're going to be as strong as the team that we saw yesterday when they obviously played NRW. So yeah, it might be an interesting one to potentially try and level the playing field here. But obviously the guys in, I believe, Jimmy, Milan and Axis are obviously going to try and fill those boots and hopefully had a good series themselves.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to jinx this team before they get spent. Those are some heavy hitters you're taking out, right? It takes 5 players to make up a team, but those are some names you definitely don't want to drop here for this matchup. But let's take a look at Paradox, see what they're bringing to the table. No massive changes, I believe, but I'm always surprised when it comes to this sort of stuff. We've got a few substitutes as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think from memory, Diddley played yesterday, so he's moved down to the subs bench, and it looks as though he's been replaced by Simpsy on this roster. So again, one change, obviously a minor one potentially. I think the main player kind of that stood out yesterday, although they did get 3-0'd by Animus. Darrix was a bit of a shining light in that roster. He had a good search and destroy, where I think he almost went double positive actually, although they did drop that map in the end at 7-3. Which was actually on a Kurahana. When we get into the maps, it'll be an interesting talking point. But yeah, one sub for the region, or the last team remaining from the region of Africa. So yeah, not necessarily the same team to potentially get the same strats exactly. But yeah, we've got a different change up, and we've got a very, very good map set to go with it, mate.
Yeah, I mean, what map could you have to better start things off than Combine just to get things rolling here for the series? I mean, I won't use the word you described this map as before we started the stream, but it's going to be pretty hectic, man. It's going to be a fun one. Gets the guns hot, gets everyone warmed up going into it. Firing range search as well on the second map, and we've seen that these teams can have some very big impact on the snipers, on the scopes, so we'll see how that kicks off. And for the third map as well, we've got Takeoff, and if it goes the distance, Slums and Kurahana. So I mean, interesting map set. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Apart from that first map, I didn't really get to dive too deep onto it. But the map set with these two teams, do you think it's more favorable for a bit of an upset or less?
Well, I mean, but it's kind of a bit of a split really, because both of the teams played kind of 2 of each of what we've got yesterday. So Combine and Slums, I believe Troglodyte played yesterday when they did play NRW, and then I think it was Takeoff and Kurahana were played by Paradox. So they've kind of got a couple of reps on both the maps. I think that takeoff control is going to be an important one, because when Paradox did play Animus yesterday, although they did get 3-0'd, that was their best performing map. So if you're Paradox, you're looking at that map and thinking, right, okay, we've at least got to take that. Troglodyte, they did play that Slums yesterday versus NRW, and they did lose 250 to I think it was 153 it was. I was just frantically scanning the notes.
Right.
But they played 4v5 because 605 was pretty much disconnected for the whole game. So they managed to accumulate a relatively decent amount of points with just 4 players on the map. So yeah, we've got a bit of a split across both teams' abilities. I think you can kind of make the argument for both teams that they've got potential maps that they can at least nick off of each other in this one. But I think that map 1 on Combine will be the important one. Troglodyte played it yesterday. It was very close. It was 250, 247 when they played that one against NRW. So they're used to the fast-paced map. And yeah, if your SMGs are pretty warm coming into this one, it's a map where you can have a hell of a lot of fun with all the operators as well coming through. So I think map 1's going to be a good gauge to see kind of what teams we've got. Obviously, the EU guys are probably going to be a favourite, at least on paper, but you don't want to count out the lads from Paradox.
Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Map 1 Combine, going to be a very interesting matchup, and as we said, really dictate how this series is going to go forward. And you know, it really is up to who starts a little bit hotter here. I think that Troglodyte Tribe as well, having those subs, it might take them a little bit to work out the kinks, but we'll see how they kick things off. I'm excited. It's going to be a banger of a series. Really pride on the line here. 3rd and 4th place getting decided. But let's kick things off. P1 online.
Yeah, so obviously there's kind of a little bit of an importance for that P2 rotation, but with Combine being such a small map, you're just anticipating that kind of there will be a large amount of engagements into P1 and not a huge amount of thought to go into P2. But Logan's already started off pretty relatively sweet with a triple kill straight on the board. Obviously, you're anticipating that kind of the team who starts off pretty decent on the back of a P1 is the one that looks like they might get a line share of time going into maybe the 2nd and 3rd hill, but at least for the time being, it's a little bit of a heavily contested one.
Yeah, rotation's somewhat important on this map, but again, that brute force aspect is so important for these teams. You can just see them run straight at these hills a lot of the time, and we'll continue to see it. Kirby taking up that sub position here, trying to make the route, maybe potentially getting paid, but I mean, you can just see the guns trying to swing here. A lot of blue in the kill feed. Yep. So far, Paradox starting off pretty well. P1 slightly favoring Troglodyte Tribe, but P2 about to come online, and we do have a bit of a setup coming in from Paradox.
Yeah, and obviously, although we can't see that mini-map, it looks as though they've pretty much got all their lanes. I think it's Muji watching the left side down towards that kind of P4 side. Nice shots actually coming through from Darix, obviously the man that we flagged up as being a standout performer here for Paradox. He's going to be in charge of watching the front door. A lot of players going to be looking to try and bundle in towards that kind of choke point. And Troglodyte Tribe, they're going to just fall by the wayside a little bit. It's going to be Syndra, Meliadus, and Jimmy all go down, and this is a really good opportunity. Again, Logan putting up some big numbers straight off the start of this P2.
Yeah, I mean, this is an absolute banger map so far. Paradox completely taking this hill. You see some kills coming back. Maybe Muji's able to get a bit more value. Fortunately, 2's all he will get. Logan already having a couple 3 pieces to his name so far. Looking to try and get another one here in P2. But unfortunately, just stuck in this spawn, unable to get in. And having so much value here. Troglodyte Tribe on that break. Unfortunately, Specialist gets invested. War Machine cleans him up. P3 on the cards next, and 14 seconds of scrap going towards Paradox.
Yeah, we can actually see quite a common approach of teams actually getting in the hill and literally pinning the team that has the close spawns out the back. And I believe Kirby actually popped War Machine, didn't get a huge amount of value with it. And on the flip side, Paradox actually made a good amount of time off the back of it. So already that early rotation towards P3 is pretty much there. The early engagements are going to be the important ones. You're not going to want to try and flip spawns out. We're actually going to see the Death Machine coming through straight away, and I believe Logan's popped the Tempest before he actually goes down to Syndra, so Muji's still got that operator. You've obviously got as well that a Toxic is opting to try and grab some with the Sparrow and some nice shots, so it looks as though the boys in blue are going to invest a lot of operators into this hill.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see how much of map control they have at every facet of this map so far. And honestly, a bit of a shock so far. Like, Troglodyte Tribe struggling to find their groove, their fluidity here. Maybe it's due to that sub, maybe it's due to Combine being that map 1 pick, but Paradox completely locking down this point, continuing to slay them out. Milan trying to get a bit of value with that Death Machine. Unfortunately, so many players to deal with. The break does come on in, but 20 seconds is all you're going to get, and so much value coming out from Paradox so far.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, it's only 10 seconds of scrap time, but you really don't want that lead to start creeping away here if you're Troglodyte. So it looks as though those remaining seconds are going to be contested and are actually going to go in favour of the team in blue. You're looking at kind of, again, Meliodas, he's got his Tempest ready to go for this next potential hill, and with a lot of players going to potentially be kind of like lining up between each other, it is a prime opportunity to use it. It looks as though they're going to get a couple of kills, actually, Paradox, at least for the start of this one. So that early rotation is going in their favour. So he's just going to actually go and straight pop for the equaliser here. He's just going to spray and pray everything that happens to move, but he doesn't get a huge amount of value of it. And all of a sudden, Troglodyte are now finding a little good opportunity here to get some good time.
Yeah, a little bit scrappy from Trog, but they do find their first rotation and they are able to relatively hold it. And unfortunately, the contest coming through now. Logan with a free two-piece might open things up for Paradox, and it will do. So you've still got 30 seconds you have to fight for if you're Troglodyte Tribe. And I mean, if you're Paradox, you can afford it. You can afford making these hills scrappy, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Going back and forth, Smoke's coming out as well to give Trog a little bit of cover. He's still got some players to deal with, and Logan, the man on everyone's lips so far, gets a nice kill for himself, and some time goes back over towards Paradox, and Troglodyte Tribe just continuously on that back foot, trying to get the upper edge here in this match.
Yeah, and this is the difficulty on a map like Combine, where the rotations don't necessarily cement you a hill. You're kind of constantly having to play for 10-15 seconds because the engagements are just so fast and you can close the distance so quickly. And obviously going back now into the second rotation on towards the P1, Troglodyte really need to try and lean on this P1 sooner rather than later, because the last thing you're going to want is trailing by, say, 80-90 points and potentially not have that rotation over towards New. So a bit of hill time coming through again, though. They're just getting picked off time after time. Simply with some crisp shots here with the XM4 is going to take that man down. And through all the madness that's ensuing on Combine, it looks as though Paradox are just the team kind of with their head screwed on just that little bit more, because they just seem to be soaking up big amounts of time throughout all the carnage. And this man on the screen putting some damage in Simpsy.
Oh my god. I mean, Simpsy just completely locking down the side of the map. No one able to get through. And, I mean, it's impressive just how much P1 time they can even grab on this map, considering how mixy it is on these early points and these open points specifically. But so much value able to be had. Milan finding a two-piece, but it's a little too late. That rotation as well already locked in for Paradox. We saw how much value they were able to get on this P2, how much time. And that lead just continuing to slip away from Troglodyte Tribe no matter how many bodies they send. And we can see here, slay after slay, point after point, kill after kill. Paradox completely in control of this hard point.
Yeah, and you've not got a huge amount of operators either to use on the side of Troglodyte. I believe they've got two to work with potentially. Which ones they are, we don't know. But one thing we do know is that Darix, he's popped his Logan likewise on the side of Paradox. So they're going to look to try and absolutely slam through this P2 and just keep everyone from Troglodyte away from this hill. Nobody seems to be getting anywhere close at the moment because of the amount of ordnance that's being thrown out that front door. Muji's going to pop the operator as well. We're going to see a war machine and a death machine. There's a hell of a lot of death in the kill feed, and it's pretty much all going in favor of Paradox. Troglodyte, they are being blown out the water on this hill.
Yeah, it is an absolute slaughter on this P2. Everyone getting mown down from Troglodyte Tribe, and that rotation's starting to come in here from Paradox. They aren't quite able to have as much success, but the flip is in. So now Troglodyte Tribe still fighting off the back foot, now getting that flip spawn and having to try and go over towards New. They're going to have an absolute tough time going through here, and you can see Logan trying to lock down those spawns, getting through the back, now playing the anchor. It is just tough scenes for Troglodyte Tribe here again. Darix with a nice two-piece with that sub. No one really able to get their way through. Now, they're trying to lock in some more time and close out this map one. And honestly, Major, we were expecting maybe an upset, but wow. This so far, a great performance from Paradox.
Yeah, so they definitely look the cleaner outfit out of the team. The Tempest going to come through there. Isn't going to chain to anything, but Meliodas is at least able to get inside the time. If he's able to keep people back, that's going to be the main thing, and it's actually going to be a shutdown there. Absolutely nothing comes from the equalizer for Troglodyte, so not ideal. Again, you've still got to try and work your way through a hell of a lot more players out the backside of the hill. Simpsy's going to grab 2 kills for Paradox. There's going to be Sindra that replies with 1, and they unfortunately are now in a position where Paradox are slowly working their way through to that 200-point mark, and it just feels as though they're kind of funneling in a little bit one at a time, and every single time they're able to get a pick, there is just an instant trade coming through from Paradox.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it feels so difficult for them to just get any sort of upper hand here in these trades, in these kills. It's like 1 for 2 every time. Paradox just having so much more firepower. You can see here, Toxic pushed up. He's able to find 2. Jimmy's only able to get the trade on the 3rd, and now Darix cleans up. It's just so difficult. The equalizer's getting invested as well. Paradox with a whole 80-point lead going into this. You can see Meliodas trying to get in. The War Machine now invested from Kirby, but Darrick's still with that equalizer, could do some big damage. He's going to find 2. The War Machine finding a second for Simpsy. And Troglodyte Tribe still sending bodies. Unfortunately, nothing going to come of it. It is an absolute shutdown here from Paradox as they continue to lock in this time and inch closer and closer to this map 1 win.
Yeah, and you can see that nobody wants to go for that choke point without War Machine literally staring them down the barrel. So a bit of hesitation here isn't really going to be what Troglodyte can afford to do, really. Simpsy's locking down that lane. Okay, well, he had it on lock, and then Syndra just ripped his weak straight off. So not ideal. The kill feed, though, still going in Paradox's favour. I think we heard a Tempest shot coming through for all of that madness. So the next kills are the all-important one. Meliodas is able to at least grab 1, and Jimmy's going to manage to pop his Sparrow to get a couple of kills. So Troglodyte still hold on. Paradox can't win off this hill, but when you're getting such a close margin as you work your way towards the 250, you've just got to make sure you win pretty much every second, because it looks as though Paradox, surely on a map like Combine, they're just going to slowly chip away ever closer to that 250.
Yeah, I mean, once you're this late in the game, it's a little too late to turn on the gas, to turn up the heat. And you can see Toxic up top, not going to find that play to his left, but no one's actually going to trade it out. Syndra a little too slow to the punch. Now 3 going to drop in that process. Logan as well through the middle of the map. We saw Simpsy and Logan on this P1 have a lot of value here early in the first 2 sets of rotations. Now we might see it here again. Jimmy trying to get in the action. He finds 3. Death Machine now invested from Muji. This could be the nail in the coffin if he's able to shut them down. Massive kills from Muji. He's able to find 3, just mowing everything down with this Death Machine. Really making it count. And no one from Troglodyte able to get in the 10-second mark. Every single point a dagger right now for Troglodyte Tribe as they struggle to get into this P1.
Yeah, they've got to go here. Troglodyte, the thing is, it's so hard to lock it down without necessarily overcommitting bodies and then subsequently kind of upsetting the kind of the rotation towards the new hill. So they have done a good job of at least staying alive. They need to try and at least stop Paradox from touching it so they can't win off this P1, which is what they're able to do. But the next important kills are going to be the ones that come through for P2. Paradox, they're out the back. They're going to be the first team on it. It's just whether or not they can punch it through the front.
Yeah, we've seen Troglodyte struggle here before. This could be the ender. Everyone going through the front. Muji with a massive nade. A Hunter Killer coming through, but it might not be enough. It's going to be Syndra at the front. He's able to find 2, but I don't think it's enough. Too many bodies lost. And Paradox looking to shut down this map 1 right here, right now. No one able to get in. The equalizer is invested as well from Darrick's. And that will be all she wrote for map 1 Combine. 250-159. Troglodyte Tribe struggling here on that map 1 to get things going. And we said that, you know, that would be a good tell for how this trend might be setting for these 2 teams going forward in this series. And I think we got our answer there. Paradox just really impressing me with their map control throughout Combine there. It's a hard map to be able to be that consistent on in terms of having that control. Yeah. They did it phenomenally. And you can take a look here. Darrick's 48 and 30 for that KD. An absolute monster game from him. A minute 34 in time as well.
Yeah, and Darrick's was the guy to watch yesterday, and he's done it again today. I don't know whether or not maybe the changes or the amount of changes that Troglodyte have made in the roster, obviously with 605 Pavilion and Mute not in this team, and being some of their better performers, but it showed in that one. I mean, we saw the kill feed time after time where it looked as though they had opportunities, Troglodyte Tribe, getting kind of 1 kills, 2 kills off the back of specialists, but it just felt as though every single time they got a 2-piece or a 3-piece, you just looked at the likes of Darrick's and those boys, they were just able to just reply with them themselves. And kind of that amount of P1 time that they actually managed to accumulate, especially in kind of that first rotation. And then the second one as well, I believe they got maybe 20, 30 seconds off the back of the P1. It just felt as though Troglodyte were struggling to get people on the hill. I mean, you look across the board and you've got kind of 1 minute 30 plus for, I think it was 3, maybe 4 of the players there from Paradox. And again, we were saying the African team potentially going to be the underdog in that one, but you're looking at the 2 outfits at the moment and you'd say they look the cleaner of the 2. So interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's extremely impressive. And I mean, to Troglodyte's defense, I think that you come into a map like Combine, right? You have a few subs. Your team's not going to be that cohesive. Sorry. I think Combine, its nature, it's kind of hard once you start falling behind. You're not really gelling. It's hard to get back in that rhythm because there's no breathing room. There's no time to go. Okay, let's set up. Let's go to this rotation. Let's spend this time here. It's just fight, gunfight after gunfight, and it's just. It's so hectic and chaotic that there's not really that time to breathe. But on that note, Firing Rage, Search and Destroy, much slower gameplay. Maybe we see Troglodyte Tribe here find their kind of mojo and at least be able to have some footing to go off of, right? You don't need as much team cohesion, I would assume, going into the search and destroy as you do in that first hard point. We just saw like it was a drastic difference. Paradox had their setup. They were constantly locking down that P1, outslaying them, and then they had that P2 set up, and then they were able to get the plays through for the P3. Like, it was just constant map control and rotations that were costing Troglodyte Tribe those rotations. And you come into a search and destroy, I think you're not going to have as much of a detrimental difference. You can rely a little bit more on that individual skill that'll come through from your subs and that gameplay. But obviously teamwork goes a long way in any game mode, but that's just my take on the search and destroy coming up.
Yeah, I think as well, one kind of positive that Troglodyte have got is that they did manage to take the search off of NRW yesterday. And I think from the interviews that the guys have been doing at Atlas, obviously with the players, and I think it was I believe it was Mute, the interview with Mute, he was essentially saying that search and destroy is their best game mode. But again, the wild card in this one is the fact that they don't have those 3 players in this roster. And obviously 605, Pavnian and Mute were very, very good yesterday in the search and destroy to be able to take that map. So it might be another one where, as much as it feels like it leans towards a particular prediction Nask, it doesn't feel like it's one that we could potentially have as like a cemented one, because they've changed the team so much. So I'll still make the assumption that Troglodyte are going to look very, very good on search again, because they are very happy with the fact that it's their strongest game mode. But again, Paradox, just off the back of that map 1, man, I don't really want to count them out and say, yeah, this one's Troglodytes, because obviously map 1, it seemed as though the favourites were the other way around. So we'll have to just wait and see. I think the first couple of rounds, especially if one team's on the offense and able to take a couple of offensive rounds right off the rip, I think that's going to be a big factor.
We're about to find out map 2. Kicking off, firing range. I think these snipers are going to have to be a big talking point going into it. The minimap is back. It's good to see it. Milan as well on that scope, looking to try and get maybe this first engagement, that first blood, open things up for this team. But so far, not much happening on the map, and still looking for that first blood.
Yeah, so bit of a calm before a storm moment, saying that I think there is actually somebody who slipped through the net in Darrix, and there you go. The man who had such a good search and destroy yesterday is just going to completely carve open the boys of Troglodyte Tribe. You're now looking at Meliodas and Syndra to try and clutch up a 2 versus 5 here. They've got kind of a lot of angles covered, but now it's just a question of, did they try and like turtle up here and play these picks themselves? Obviously, that bomb's going to go down. They've got a lot of time to potentially work with, but unfortunately there, it's going to leave Syndra all on his ones, and with a shotgun in hand, there's literally nowhere he can go.
He's sitting in the corner and praying. Maybe someone will come and save him. Nothing's happening. The sandbag's going to be his final resting place. The first round of Paradox, a very impressive one. Darrix again, I mean, if we haven't hyped up this man enough, we're going to be fanboys by the end of it. He is an absolute machine when it comes to these kills. Nice 2-piece, kicks things off for that round. Second round now underway. Nice attack coming through as well for Paradox. An immediate hit towards this A site. Trades go out. Unfortunately, look at Muji reading the flank. Unfortunately, that kill's not going to come through. Jimmy's able to find 2 and maybe even a 3rd for Jimmy. Massive kills for Jimmy. He's able to completely bring that back for Troglodyte. Unfortunately, a lot of value going to come out, and we're evening things up 1-1. What an explosive round back-to-back.
Yeah, Jimmy just made the play, basically made the flank, and unfortunately, I can't remember which player on the side of Paradox it was. I think it maybe have been Toxic that was laying prone and turned around to try and make the read, but that first kill from Jimmy was... was it Muji? Yeah, that first kill was everything, because as soon as he got that first pick, he was one shot, but everyone was looking towards the front side of the site, and he just literally carved through 3 players and essentially opened that round up for them. So yeah, really good work there from Jimmy, and all of a sudden we're back tied at 1 apiece.
Yeah, brutal loss, brutal 1v1 to lose, but 1-1, making it interesting. Definitely closer than the hard point that we saw on Combine. Now coming through. Look at how passive this setup is. No one looking to try and make that first angle. Wow, what a gel from Logan. Slides out and absolutely twerks on Kirby. What have I just seen there? A trade comes back from Syndra and Meliodas, so at least some value coming back from Troglodyte Tribe. But Muji with a nice snipe as well. The snipers are swinging from Paradox. It is back and forth. We're left in a 2 versus 2.
Yeah, this double setup for the snipers seems to be working for them, at least getting the picks. It will potentially be a little bit more difficult once they've got this bomb down, because obviously Logan, unless he picks up another weapon, is going to have the machine pistol, albeit it's not exactly the worst weapon in the world to be running on COD Mobile, but bomb will go down. Now it's just a question of how Troglodyte try and retake this site. It looks as though they're both going to try and come from kind of that back building down through ramp, and they're going to try and nade out in towards the building. They're not actually going to tag Logan up here, so the next pick is probably going to be the all-important one.
Sniper up close, switching out for the machine pistol. Might have a tough gunfight here. The double challenge going in with a nice slide. Simpsy's going to try and find 2, but Meliodas snaps around, is able to find it. And a massive kill, or 2 I should say, for Troglodyte Tribe to end off that round and take the advantage. And this is what we talked about. That slower pace, allowing those players to take a breather. Seems to be paying off a little bit here, at least early on. 2-1, now that lead starting to fall in the hands of Trog.
Yeah, you got to think as well, that communication was pretty much on point. Both players slid in and gave them absolutely no chance for that first engagement. And then obviously with both players still pretty much full health, able to take the next one as well. It looks as though Paradox are going to switch it up though and get very, very busy over towards the B site. Whether or not Meliodas gets tagged up by the nade, we'll have to wait and see. There's going to be a few players actually flying over towards the back of site here, and Meliodas is going to have to make the play. Lane prone though, catches out one. There's the second as well for Meliodas, hunting down the third, and 3 for him in quick succession. There's another 4th in front of him in Logan, and my God,
it's a sitter.
You blink. Syndra picked up 1, but Meliodas was the man of the moment there. He just chewed through 4 players, and they had no idea he was there.
I mean, what a play. Playing passive, obviously common with his teammates as well. Goes for the strike. Beautiful cleanup from Meliodas, and Troglodyte Tribe looking like they have a much better handle on things here. And I mean, it's night and day difference. That combine hardpoint really was not their strong suit. They needed that little breather, and we're seeing it here. Paradox yet to get the ball rolling here on this search. That first round was good, but so far Troglodyte taking away 3 straight. Now another attack coming out from Paradox.
Yeah, and I think off the back of that round, they've decided, right, okay, let's play this one a little bit slower, lads, because they did seem to get caught with their pants down towards B long, and Muji with a much better start to this one. Obviously, if they're playing the 2 snipers, then you're going to anticipate that they're going to try and play it a little bit slower. Obviously, Jimmy's able to reply with 1, but I wouldn't kind of assume they're going to be kind of headbutting sites with 2 snipers on the roster. Jimmy's actually done a good job of shutting Darix down, so all of a sudden you're left with a 3 versus 3, but 2 of those 3 players on the side of Paradox are those snipers.
They're going to be hard to find that initiation. Minutes still left on the clock, a lot of time to work with, but looks like they might try and opt out for this B site. Got Syndra as well with that close shot, but he gets taken down by Toxic, so it's a massive opening kill. That B site wide open, you see the rotations immediately coming through. Muji's shooting at nothing. At least shooting some warning shots, maybe. And Meliodas able to find that opening onto Logan. A nice trade from Toxic. We're left down to 1. Jimmy looking to try and make the clutch. 1 versus 2 in the post plant.
So it's just whether or not Jimmy can spot the first player. Oh, no, never mind. Nice work there from the boys in yellow. Paradox just kind of playing the 2 versus 1 pretty smart, not playing it 2 back-to-back, but obviously getting that information, and the shell comes through straight away. So good recovery round from Paradox in that one. Obviously, they decided to play it a little bit slower. It benefited them quite heavily in that one. And it's just going to be a case of whether or not they can just kind of keep that momentum going now, because that was an important round. If you're dropping 4-1 down, it's looking a bit doom and gloom here. But yeah, on the offense, you take that round pretty happily.
Yeah, massive round for Paradox to pick up there. Get themselves back in a little bit. Don't let that lead slip too far out of reach. Jimmy as well looking to try and make this opening kill throughout mid, but you just see Paradox love to play these rounds really passive at the start. Try and work those picks. Maybe utilize that double sniper setup they have. So it does seem to find a bit of value, but when it doesn't quite open itself up, it can be a bit difficult. And Jimmy, the first to strike. Muji going to drop, and you can see Syndra now getting up close and personal. Finds a second with Darix. And now, Toxic in a very awkward situation, but is able to get the Ego Shell onto it. 3 versus 4 is what we're left with, and now you're trying to pick up the pieces if you're Paradox.
Yeah, that's a big kill as well from Toxic. I think there's a gunfight over towards the site, and Simpsy's actually able to get 2 players, so completely flips the round on its head. And now all of a sudden you've got a 2 versus 3 in favour of Paradox here, so the next pick's going to potentially be a killer, and it's going to actually be 1 literally in the blink of an eye, or 2 in the blink of an eye, apologies, as they manage to get both of those players win their ones. And like a round where Troglodyte might actually be kicking themselves a little one in that one, Nas, because they had the man advantage, and all of a sudden it crumbled off the back of just not winning their ones.
Yeah, and not even that as well. Simpsy just completely pretty much by himself opens up that A side, is able to find a 2-piece. And you can see how well Trog worked the middle of that map. I think it was Jimmy and Syndra, and yeah, they let it slip. And Toxic able to find the first blood here, but Milano at the top shuts down Muji. Disgusting shot. Evens up the round, 4 versus 4. Jimmy as well able to find a disgusting 2-piece off the back of it. Is back and forth, but Paradox now, the ones on the back foot, 2 versus 4.
Yeah, this is a much better round here on the flip side now. Troglodyte on the offense, so the ability to just have that sniper that can open up the round. Jimmy again with another big pick. He's having a good map so far. We're seeing how many times is he carving this Paradox team apart, but now all of a sudden Logan, oh, there you go. Well, he jumped for a second and he landed literally with a bullet through his brain, so not ideal there for him. And that is a very, very strong opening offense if you're Troglodyte Tribe. Obviously, Paradox kind of made hit or miss of those offensive rounds, but Troglodyte, their first offensive round looks absolutely pucker.
Kirby on the scope. as well. Offensive coming through again. See how they find it. Looks like a very heavy B stack coming out for Troglodyte Tribe. They're going to try and find the openings, but it's Logan going to strike first. The first blood now coming through for Meliodas. They are trying to find themselves a way onto the B side, but not really quite pulling the trigger. And they don't really know, Paradox, if they're committing to this B side, but Toxic able to shut things down and at least stall this push, and no one able to get through.
Yep. And Kirby, though, with a big couple of kills, is actually going to even it up now. There's one that will fall, though, in the form. Oh, it is actually Kirby himself that goes down, courtesy of the machine pistol. The shotgun isn't going to be enough there. Syndra doesn't manage to whip round in the nick of time, so Darix takes him down, leaves Milan all on his own. Is the sniper shot going to hit? No, it's not. They're shooting fresh air between the two of them. And it's actually going to be the boxing gloves. So you shouldn't bring a knife to a gunfight, but apparently boxing gloves work instead.
He's just slipping, sliding everywhere. Left, right, good night. See you later. Trog going to drop. 4-4. What a way to take him down. The disrespect, man. It's a bit of BM from Darix, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, anyways, regaining there. It's going to be Milan. Trying to get the scope going, but it's going to be the nades over the top. It's a massive utility placement. Now it's evened up. Kirby able to find one more. So much value from these scopes on this firing range so far. Muji strikes back. Jimmy going to drop. And now a 3 versus 4 for Troglodyte Tribe. Paradox potentially taking the lead here. The first time since the start of this search and destroy if they're able to take down this round.
Yeah, and obviously Logan being over towards the B site is going to see absolutely nothing, but keeping on number 1 in Muji, because again, kind of those jump shots seem to be working absolute wonders for both of the respective team snipers. So the next engagement is going to be that all-important one. The bomb in the hands of Syndra. Looks as though he's going to try and get it down very shortly, but you've got to kind of get your timing right here, because if you wait too long, you're anticipating a chance going to come through, and there you go. There it is from Toxic. He's able to get one, dips around, can't quite snap onto Meliodas, so he manages to reply with a pick. The bomb still hasn't necessarily gone down just yet, though. That's the all-important thing in this round, and with a minute still left to work with, it is doable, and you're looking at this next engagement being huge.
Bunkering down. Bomb trying to go down as well on this A site. Oh, Logan through the walls, able to find Meliodas. A massive kill. So now it's all left up to Kirby, but he gets pushed from Darix, and it is all but over. What a weird way to end off that round, but it works out. Paradox take the lead late into this search and destroy, inching further and further closer to that final goal. We'll see here, though, another defense coming out from them. So far, their defenses have been very, very solid in the second half. See if it happens here again. Muji loves going for these wall bangs. Nothing going to connect. No one even there. It's going to be a full B hit coming out from Troglodyte Tribe. We'll see if they're able to kick things off.
Oh my god. And keep an eye on... I was going to say Jimmy there, but I think he gets his chin slapped off by those gloves again from Toxic. Syndra with the OS, though, is able to at least close the distance on 1 kill. So Darix goes down. 3v4, though, isn't benefiting Troglodyte, at least for now. And they've got to try and get the bomb, but keep an eye on the pinch. Oh, it's actually going to be Kirby with a really heads-up play there. Just to spin around and spot Simpsy on the pinch. So... I believe they've still got bomb in the hands of Syndra. It's just a question of, do they try and wrap this out, or do they try and just stick it over towards B? They've obviously got the man advantage over towards the B site, and it looks as though the bomb is going to go down.
Both playing an effect for him. You could see Paradox not moving an inch. Muji and Logan, both snipers, looking to try and clutch this out. Not ideal for the B site at all. Syndra taking post in his favorite pause. We'll see if they're going to try and even find anything here. It's a very difficult situation for Muji. Trying to line things up. Massive kill to Milan. 2 versus 2 now. Both scopes looking to try and engage this site. Kirby's playing deep. Syndra with the shotty. It's perfect for this site. Muji going to get slide jailed. Logan now in the 1 versus 2 with 15 seconds. It's not going to happen. Kirby finds 3 for the round. That's a beautiful comeback round for Troglodyte Tribe as they shut it down on that B site.
Yeah, I thought when we saw that kind of snap from Muji, I thought they were going to just do absolutely something disgusting and take the map. But unfortunately for them, it isn't going to happen. We do go towards that round 11. But yeah, the sniper's just holding the crosses there. Kirby, this man on the screen, has been phenomenal. 9-0 him so far in the search. And obviously looking to try and add that number and just make it ever so slightly larger in towards the next round. So cooking something up special. Is it going to land with anything? Doesn't look as though it is. It's a very slow approach on the offense here from Troglodyte, just looking for that first important pick.
No one yet to give up their life. No one trying to get over aggressive. Kirby's been a phenom on their sniper so far, looking to try and take on Muji on that A side of the map. No one really giving up their life. Logan as well. I get a wallbang, no one home. And here it kicks off on the A side. Shots go out, but no one is going to drop. And it is so passive, so tense. Every single one of these gunfights, but no one wants to give anything up. And it's finally going to be Darrex dropping. That's the opening threat Troglodyte Tribe needed to try and hit this B site.
Yeah, those paper mache walls didn't really help Darrex out in that instance. So B site looks as though it's pretty much all blue, apart from Kirby, who's going to be just lurking over towards the A site. They've got to be careful not to over-peak an angle that they don't necessarily want to give a freebie away to Paradox here. You anticipate the bomb will go down shortly. Meliodas gets a really important pick onto Simpsy, and this round looks a hell of a lot easier. They've still not dealt, actually, with Kirby. I think they know he's here, but Kirby's still doing damage over towards this site. Toxic finally trades him out. But when you're looking at the damage that he's done and a 2 versus 4 and 30 seconds left, these last 2 remaining players have absolutely got to leg it. I believe Syndra's ready and waiting with a shotgun in towards Crate, and he's able to pick off one. His teammate Meliodas gets the trade, and Troglodyte now go on to map point.
Looking good, Troglodyte. We're going to try and close this out, make this series very tense. For that first map 1 loss, Troglodyte Tribe not looking to try and take a second hit. Paradox has had some good moments, just lacking a lot of these trades, a lot of these picks. And you can see they're going for an aggressive approach here all the way up the middle. Logan able to get the first blood onto Jimmy. They're going to hit this B side again, Troglodyte Tribe, but that one player is going to get singled out. It's going to be Kirby. He will drop. So now a 3 versus 5 that they have to try and get the bomb down on B is going to be very awkward, but that is all but free for Troglodyte Tribe to at least get the post plan in.
Yeah, it was really smart as well. Logan at the start gets his pick, gets out of dodge, and it's now going to be a position where Troglodyte, again, they're just going to see if they can get a pick, I assume, before they try and get this bomb down. But with the snipers, especially of Logan, just watching down one lane, I don't know whether or not Muji is still running that sniper, and he might potentially still be running it. Yeah, he is. So you just feel as though the inevitable, if whoever gets on that bomb, is probably going to get mopped up potentially by Simpsy. He's obviously watching down towards where the bomb is actually located. So that first engagement going to be a big one next. And it's actually going to be Simpsy that there it is. He's overtrowed that one, Syndra. The bomb is dropped in a really horrendous spot now, and he leaves his teammates in a sticky situation.
Yeah, all up to 1. It is a clean, flawless round from Paradox to take us to round 13. Both on map point. Overtime is in effect. It has been such a crazy search and destroy so far, back and forth. This is what we expected from these two teams. Preferably in the first hard point, but it did not go that way. Now in the search, this could be a massive turning point in this series. Control up next. This would be a massive round for either team, a massive map. We can see already Logan trying to go for that first pick. No one wants to give up their life.
Yeah, so it's a squeaky bum time for both teams now. Again, I think they're just going to try and hide behind the snipers to do the damage. Obviously, we've seen Logan do it a few times, and this time it's actually going to be Muji that's able to do it. Is Duo on the Tundra is able to open up the round, and now it's just the question of where they take this bomb. You've still got the bomb in the hands of Logan, so it's looking like the A plant is slowly formulating. But again, they're still just saying if Troglodyte overchows something, they get the information on that player top mid, and now can they get the kills? It looks as though Logan gets a pick onto Mr. Milan. Meliodas at least gets one in response, but the 3 versus 4 is now favouring them to try and get this bomb down, and it's actually going to be Darrex with a really important pick, and now it's a 2v4.
Yeah, and Sidra as well, isolated in the mid. Might be able to find Toxic if he's unlucky. Going with a shotty, trying to get the punches on. Not quite. No one outs in the middle of the map, but still a 3 versus 2. No one yet to get the bomb down. Very awkward situation. B will be the side of choice, and Syndra with his shot, he has to play very cautious in how he wants to try and initiate these fights. Logan as well on this bomb, looking to try and find Syndra. He's got the shotty out. Darrex peeks, and now it's a 1 versus 3. Meliodas looking to try and keep Troglodyte alive in this map. It's all on his shoulders. Would have to be a momentous effort going for the challenge of Muji. He has to back out with his life. Logan go for the challenge as well. Meliodas getting some nice shots in. Muji still missing those shots. Meliodas is somehow staying alive on these chells. But I think it's all going to be over. Muji shuts him down with a snipe, and it was going to be a triple chell to end things off. And Paradox, Major, take this 2-0 up. It is a very, very impressive. Wait, no, sorry. Overtime, I forget the rules. I apologize. Sorry, guys. You know, I got ahead of myself. I'm used to traditional COD.
Yeah, man.
Forgive me. They're still going.
Oh, mate, I've done it. Don't you worry. It happens to the best of us. But Obviously, Paradox, they've still got to go through one more, but it's looking good for them already. Simpsy gets one, Darix gets one. They must have heard the call, mate. They've heard the comms. Jimmy does manage to reply with a kill, but you're looking now at Muji. He is legging it up the map, sniper in hand. He's got to be careful. He doesn't check his right-hand side, and you anticipate now that Syndra in a 1v4 won't get this done, and I don't think he actually got the information onto Muji when he pushed through. Surely he's going to get shot in the back anytime soon. Yeah, so able to get one is Syndra, but is he going to get away with enough of time, and more importantly, those all-important kills to get this done? Because if he doesn't, Paradox, they will go 2-0 up.
Syndra, very awkward situation. Going to try and go for the channels, but I think it's all over for him. He does get taken down, and it's a brilliant stuff from Paradox all around. I mean, you got to look at this team, and you've got to be somewhat impressed from what they've been able to achieve so far, coming through and able to get through on that map to win. And very efficiently as well. I mean, it was hard. It was back and forth. Troglodyte Tribe taking the lead, looking like they had a good handle on things. Paradox got their stuff together, was able to go down to the wire, go into overtime, and you know, clean things up. It was a beautiful match. I got to say, those snipers on both sides. We had Kirby, we had Logan, we had Muji, we had Jimmy coming in, not with a sniper, but just coming in with some massive kills. You know, everyone played their part. Darix as well, Simpsy. Everyone. I'm just listing off everyone in the lobby, but you know, everyone played their part respectfully. So yeah, I mean, it's an impressive matchup. Unfortunately for Troglodyte Tribe, though, going down 2-0 now in this best of 5, it's going to be very tough, you know, putting themselves in this position early. Yeah, and although Logan and Muji didn't necessarily top the leaderboard, the amount of times that we saw them kind of get a pick here or there to open up the bomb site, that was the all-important thing for them, to be honest. And it was just one where the guys of Troglodyte weren't really able to cope with it. And the main difficulty now that Troglodyte have got is going into a map 3 where in a takeoff control, Paradox looked very good in that takeoff control versus Animus yesterday. They only lost it 3-2, and with a team like Animus, you would have anticipated it be maybe a 3-0 or a 3-1 on a good day. And they looked very good on this map. So the way that it's going at the moment, it looks as though the boys from Africa are pretty much going to cement this third place. Obviously, I don't want to cast a curse on something honking, which we have a habit of doing. But at the moment, at the two teams, they look the more kind of composed team, and kind of going into a respawn where, again, off the that first map being 250 to, was it 159, I think it was? You're looking at these boys and going, they seem to have a bit more in their locker than Troglodyte Tribe, which is not necessarily something that we would have thought going into this one. Again, we will caveat it because Troglodyte are missing 3 big players, or at least have decided to sub out 3 big hitters. But tell you what, you can only beat the team that's in front of you, and Paradox are doing it very well at the moment. Yeah, and I mean, as well, coming from Paradox, you know, they're hungry for it. They want it. You know, being the only African team left and coming in from that redemption arc, you know, coming back from the dead and coming back with a vengeance so far in this matchup. They're playing phenomenally. The Combine was extremely impressive in the search to destroy, able to go down to the wire, being a little bit more efficient, closing those rounds out. And, you know, as you said, I mean, even, you know, Logan and Muji, their stats weren't that impressive, but you just saw the impact they had on the map. The scopes were super important. They were able to get those going, and now coming into the control, you know, I'm a bit scared. You know, I don't want to cast a curse either, but Troglodyte Tribe in that Combine, struggling to really get that map control. And in a game mode like, you know, Control, obviously that's the name of the game. It's very important. So we'll see. Potentially could be the final map of the series. It is series point for Paradox. They are up 2-0. Troglodyte Tribe looking to stay in it here on this map 3. Control on takeoff. It is going to be a very interesting you know, map here. I think that it could really go either way. We've seen that Troglodyte Tribe have the capabilities with their subs, and Paradox, of course, proving more than enough that they have it. And already, kill feed turning yellow. Some big kills coming for Paradox, and it's a 5 down immediately as they completely wipe the floor with Troglodyte. Yeah, and we know already kind of in our short time of casting Control, the kind of spawns can be horrendous on this. And if you've got a player like Darix right up in your cheeks, it's not ideal when you're going to start dropping a hell of a lot of lives. So Paradox going to be starting off on the offense. They are going to try and open it out. Mr. Milan's going to be able to get one pick before Darix and Muji reply with one. So they are looking to try and get those spawn traps in. A couple of players you can see already pushing heavily up the map on both respective sides. Simpsy, though, going to open up this left-hand lane with one pick. He's looking to try and help his teammate out in that situation as well. And now as he tries to push up a little bit, they're running out of time a little bit, but they are now on that A point. I'm saying that Kirby's completely just wigged
one player in Toxic off of it. So 15 lives, a progression coming through, and the problem for Paradox might potentially be that timer because they've only got 35 seconds.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, you're finding a lot of kills, but you're not having a lot of value. No real progress has been made on the objectives. You've got some resource advantage, but you've got to start utilizing it. Really, you're not even getting that first tick. 20 seconds left. Mr. Milan as well in the back, looking to try and be, I guess, a pain and nuisance, trying to find these players, but unfortunately, there's not a lot you can work with. If they are able to get this secure, maybe we can start to talk about Troglodyte Tribe losing this round. Unfortunately, Paradox still struggling to find those bodies, to find that initiation onto this A zone, and no one is close. Players still dropping. It's a massive flurry of blue kills in the feed, and it is going to be a wipe for Paradox. Never mind, they get to the point. 0 seconds. It's lied to me. Somehow Darix gets in there. He was in the cheeks for a minute, but slightly got removed there at the end of that round. 1-0 for Troglodyte Tribe with a very efficient defense.
Yeah, and Kirby had 2 phases of play in that towards the end of it where he kept getting those players off the time. So no matter kind of the life deficit they have, Kirby kept picking that man off time. So every single time Paradox tried to keep one bloke on it and push up the kills, the timer just kept getting milked. And obviously Kirby at the end with the pinch is able just to completely finalize it. So although Troglodyte were down on lives, again, just keeping them off the time, Paradox opted not to stack the hill, which is a very, very brave approach in control, especially if you're not like an extortionate amount of time still remaining. It's just going to be difficult for them. So good round on the board there for Troglodyte. Obviously, Paradox now going to be on that defensive side, so we'll see if they can switch it up a little bit and maybe make it work. But originally, the early engagements are going to benefit. It looks as though a 50-50 split at the moment, but Syndra with the equalizers now going to go on the hunt for some more picks.
Yeah, trying to find some big value here. Again, so many kills coming out for Troglodyte Tribe, but Paradox looking to match it. Muji and Toxic finding kills apiece. Syndra still burning out that equalizer. We're going to try and get some kills. Muji gets shot in the back. Nothing he can do. War Machine as well getting invested here, but Darix as well with that equalizer seems to be his signature weapon at this point. Finds a 2-piece for himself. Cleans house. Simsy and Muji as well coming in. Milan completely burning. The Death Machine. Darix still frying. Gets 4 with the equalizer. And so many kills going towards Paradox. No one able to find those initiations. 20 seconds left on the clock. Toxic in the back line. Finds a 3-piece as well with a Chow. My goodness. Toxic continuing to just go on this spree. No one able to shut him down. Finally, a Chow comes through, but it is too much damage too quickly. No lives left for Troglodyte Tribe. And it is a brutal defense for Paradox to even things up 1-1.
Yeah, and I think if you're comparing now the first 2 rounds that we've had, Paradox's one looked a bit more comfortable than Troglodyte's. Yeah. Obviously, we saw the ability for them to kind of push up into the spawn of the team on defense, and the amount of kills that we just saw coming through there towards the back end of the round. I think just maybe you're looking at favouring Paradox kind of more so on that defensive side, and that's where the ticks are going to be potentially the more important one. I didn't actually count how many Paradox got in that one. In that first round in comparison to Troglodyte in that round that we just seen. So it's going to be potentially an all-important set of rounds coming up now, Nas, because you're looking at those ticks now, and whoever's on that defensive side might potentially sway it in this one. But yeah, round 3 underway, and it looks as though boys from Paradox again just looking to try and clear out those blue arrows.
Yeah, I think the first take the offense here will set themselves up nicely. Force pressure on Troglodyte to stay in this map, and Darix is able to find a second there as well. It's disgusting, man. Every time we spectate this player, it seems like he's doing something new. Simsy up top as well, able to find that player in the back. It's a massive kill to find on Syndra, and now we're starting to see some tick progression coming in on A. Now the setup's in for Paradox. Players starting to come back through. Kirby trying to get on the action. The Sparrow now invested from Toxic in this A zone, continuing to get worked away at. No one from Troglodyte able to get in and stop and contest this. Mr. Milan gives up his position, but the Sparrow now staring him in the face. Jimmy's able to help. There's a lot of work and a lot of stuff going on around the map, but I think that Troglodyte are able to stabilize.
Yeah, so with 16, we'll make it 15 plays 12 now. This next wave is going to be really important here for Troglodyte. If they can just stave off that team push of Paradox to stop the clock. They do manage to stop the clock, at least for now. I believe it's number 3 in Toxic that's actually on the time. So this is gold dust here for Paradox, but they need to get the kills out of spawn here because their lives are getting absolutely hammered. Nice shots actually that come through, I believe, from Darix to shut down Syndra. Kirby replies with at least a trade, but again, that is going to be absolutely huge on the A point. The ticks look as though they're pretty much done, question mark. Oh no, they've actually come off the point, so 25 seconds left. It might be a little bit hell for leather as they're going to desperately try and get over towards the point, and that A point's not done, and now it's 8v4.
are able to get on in and at least extend that time. There's a lot of kills that needs to be had. Needs to be playing a little bit of search, and with Derek's gone, so 2 versus 8. It would have to be a very impressive, feat from Simpsy and, well, nope, just Simpsy. Logan drops, so I think the round's all but done. But at least an A zone caught here. Could be setting Paradox up for something nicer in the future, but a pretty clean round for Troglodyte. Got a little bit dicey in the A. I'm not sure how they quite let that slip for so long. They had so many players in the spawn for a long time, and no one was able to get on that A zone. Simpsy's just running through the B zone, no care in the world. He's just looking to take everyone on, giving his position away. No care. Turns around, almost turns on Meliodas, but yeah, I mean, at this point, you're just going to challenge 2 people. It is a nice round from Troglodyte, all things considered. They were able to set up that spawn trap and pretty comfortable with it.
Yeah. The thing is, one thing I would say about that is by him kind of staying alive and playing the 1 versus 8, I think it allowed potentially 2 players on Troglodyte to charge their operators, and I think they've now got them. Yeah. You can see kind of the Troglodyte have now got 4 on the board off the back end of that round, so that's not going to be ideal for them, but we are going to start to see the operators coming through. Simpsy, though, going to snap straight around with the War Machine and shut down that equalizer of Syndra, so that's a really big one coming through, and Simpsy is finding a lot of value here with this War Machine, and more importantly now he can start to stave off all the players coming off spawn. And again, it looks as though Paradox in the early stages of this one, they are completely slaughtering Troglodyte in spawn. Everyone coming through is literally getting hammered with bullets and operators alike. They do get a couple of kills finally, but you can see the damage is at least done for the time being. A lot of time has gone pretty much slipping already.
Yeah, and a lot of operators, a lot of specialists being absolutely taken off the map there from Troglodyte Tribe. You saw that Tempest got pulled out and got put back in the pocket immediately. Not able to get any value. Only a 3 life differential, though, all things considered for Paradox. Never mind. Sorry, it's going to be 6 immediately. Everyone dropping. And now Kirby able to at least try and even things up, but 30 seconds on the clock. They have 0 progress, 0 players even out of the spawn at this point. Logan with the Tempest is able to find 1 and potentially a second. Luigi with the Death Machine having a very tough gunfight, and Kirby now finally investing his specialist. Might try and get them something, but with 14 seconds, it is an absolute flawless defense. And again, as you said, Paradox just looking way cleaner on their defenses. And it is all up to really who gets this last defense, who's probably going to take it, because the offenses have been so difficult. We do see at least an opening here with some kills, but going to be shut down just as quickly.
They're kind of doing what Paradox did in keeping 1 man on the hill, so they've got to be careful that 1 man doesn't drop, because with 3 seconds left, you've got to try and start stacking this. You've got to take the gunfights. They do actually favor them, though, but it's going to be a 5v5, 3 seconds. They're going to have enough of a stack on this where Paradox are going to have to try and go at it. So you're looking at the kind of the kills potentially that are going to come up next, and that A progression's coming through quickly. They've got to try and chow this Paradox, otherwise this map's done. Anyone chowing, anyone taking them off the point, they just get it done regardless. So you're looking at that one. They've now got a minute of time to work with 2 versus 2. And these next gunfights potentially might be the map here for Troglodyte. So next gunfight is the big one. Oh.
It's 1 versus 2 for Meliodas. He knows where Simpsy is. He's able to get him very weak, but he gets out with his life. It's 1 versus 2. And a very momentous feat for Troglodyte Tribe. I mean, doing what Paradox did, but successfully this time. Still trying to work for that kill, but you can see both players now grouping up, able to take care of him. They stay alive, but a very dicey round. And just as I was gassing up Paradox and their defense, it almost comes crumbling down, but we're in that final round now. And it is going to be all the pressure on Troglodyte here to stay in this series. We'll see if they're able to do it. We've seen Paradox before. They've had some very interesting defenses. We'll see if they're able to do it here again. No one yet to even come close to winning that offense except for the last round, which came down to lives. And so far, Paradox kicking off this round pretty nicely. Yeah, and it's always been the break-offs that we've seen from Paradox on the defense that have been good. Syndra, though, with a really big 2-piece over towards that B site. But again, you've got the equalizers in this man's hands, and Derek's is waiting for that chance. The smoke comes through, the distance is going to be closed, and now he's going to try and do a little bit of termination towards the spawn here of Troglodyte Tribe, just playing his life. He's still got a little bit of time left in these equalizers, but he's not got a huge amount of it, saying that, so he's going to be forced to back up, and I think that's all he's going to get. So it's going to be a couple of kills that actually benefit Troglodyte. A couple of War Machine kills come through, so that's ideal. So they will begin to progress up that map a little bit more, but again, Nasky, you're looking at that time, it's still a case of there's a lot of lives, but that time is slowly ticking away now. Yeah, the time has been the enemy for so many of these offensive rounds. We might see it here again, but A, still getting ticked away at. Still getting that progress through. It's a big chell from Toxic. He doesn't know where the player is. He's getting spun on, but finally finds the kill. A does get stalled as well, so 38 seconds and counting now. But the spawn trap is in. Muji now with the death machine, looking to shut them down. Troglodyte not able to move, with Muji laying down hell with this machine. And it is so difficult for them now. The spawn trap's in. It's got 25 seconds left. The respawn's all but gone for Troglodyte Tribe, and this could be a very sad and anticlimactic end to what could have been, and what probably should have been, a lot closer of a series, all things considered. But the search and the control, kind of paying dividends here for Paradox. Really with their ice, really with their crunch, and able to get that 3-2 win and the 3-0 in the series. Wow, what a performance here from Paradox.
Yeah, so congratulations to them, guys, because, again, the team that we were potentially stating as the underdog looked to the comfortable of the two by quite a considerable amount. Obviously, a 3-0 against Troglodyte isn't going to be the easiest thing in the world, and they've come through, obviously, in a position where they were kind of granted a place in towards that semi-final, which they did unfortunately lose, but they've managed to take that third-place spot off the back of a very, very comfortable series. Obviously, across the board, the players, especially in that control, putting up some big kills. Well, obviously, we'll see the stats and the scoreboards, obviously, coming up, but again, it just felt as though when they were on those defensive sides, they looked to be the more comfortable, and that was kind of the outcome that you would normally assume from the stronger side. Again, you're looking at Simpsy there, 32 and 16. Toxic, again, pretty good job from his side, and across the board, very good. And then on the flip side, you've got the likes of Jimmy, who's obviously had a bit of a struggle. We can't obviously see the other two remaining players, but tell you what, the guys from Africa have something to take away from them off the back of this EACS season, mate, because with them finishing third, that's definitely something they can walk away with their heads held high.
Yeah, and really taking and utilizing that second chance that they were given. And I got to say as well, Jimmy 19 and 37, but in that search and destroy, he was at all, everything for that Troglodyte Tribe squad. And I think a 3-0 just doesn't do the series justice. If you looked at that, you would not have seen the control and search, and how close they were. I mean, I say the control was close, and it's a little bit unfortunate because it was just kind of defensive wins. And I mean, Troglodyte Tribe in that last attacking round had the opportunity there, just unfortunately fell a little bit short. And, it was quite close in that regard. But, yeah, I mean, man, the search and the control really stand out to me. Combine, look, you can say Paradox were very consistent, looking pretty good. But unfortunately, we prayed not for a 3-0, but as the way of us casters seems to be the opposite. And it is unfortunately a quick series for today, but we will be back tomorrow with some more EACS. The finals are on. It's all leading up to that. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for some more COD mobile action. But I think that's going to be it from us, Major. It has been an absolute pleasure. It has been a great time casting the series. And hopefully we do it again sometime. But make sure you tune in tomorrow for the finals.